Hi, welcome to our podcast, Barely Even Friends. It's me and Variola today. We're going to talk about the Supreme Court and the justice they just confirmed. Her name,
Kitanji,
Ketanji.
on first name basis on this podcast.
Exactly. We don't believe in last names.
So before we started recording, Kyle was ranting on how Supreme Court is completely
it's fucked.
yeah, it's fucked. Yeah, I was looking for a better word, but it's screwed over.
Pretty much, the Republicans have spent the last, and conservatives in general, since Eisenhower, have been trying to stack the court with the most reactionary justices as possible, but they've been getting fucked over each time. Because they all like Warren, Eisenhower's justice. He ended up being one of the most liberal justices in like pretty much U.S. history. His court was like one of the most liberal. They banned the death penalty. They expanded civil rights, and all sorts of other good stuff. And there's a quote from Eisenhower saying, "What was your greatest regret?" And he said, "What? Look at my Supreme Court." Then, so with that backdrop, pretty much from the 50s until the late 40s to the 50s, even into like about the 80s. You could even go, I'll say, about 2015. And pretty much the expansion of civil rights in America has come through the Supreme Court because they aren't really held accountable by anyone, which is a good and a bad thing. So they're able to actually do more changes that might seem unpopular to the majority, aka the cis white population. Like expand desegregation, banning the death penalty, expanding abortion, then making gay sex legal, then gay marriage. So these things have pissed off the reactionaries quite a bit. So starting in about the 70s and 80s, they created the Federalist Society, and a lot of conservative news and law journals to promote conservative interpretations of constitutions and laws, and like more or less handcraft judges for future Republicans to elect, to appoint to the Supreme Court, so that they don't have a Warren problem, because it's happened several times to them. Oh yeah, Anthony Kennedy, he voted to legalize gay sex, then gay marriage, and he was appointed by the first Bush. So they do not want this shit to ever happen again, where they put a conservative on the bench and they end up being like socially liberal. So the culmination was it all start of this. Oh yeah, they also changed how the Supreme Court and judges and lawyers would interpret the Second Amendment as a French conservative viewpoint that people should have access to all guns and no restrictions. That was a very fringe point of view until very recently. They had a more of a, you need to have, they have the whole militia part. Yeah.
You have like originalist interpretation, and you have like judicial activism interpretation. Originalists were represented by Scalia, who was conservative before that, and he would say we should interpret the laws as they were written in, as people meant to, as they were written originally. So what did people that wrote the Constitution in 18th century think when they were writing it down? That is the law. While the more like judicial activism, they would say laws evolve, written down law evolves over time. So what they wrote back then, we should see it differently now. They're going to tell you like, oh, in the Constitution it says all men are created equal, but we know now for us it means women as well, it means black people as well. Well, for the original like founding fathers, whatever, who were racist as hell.
I'd be pretty festive of a person.
Yeah. So that is the like theoretical arguments that they're having. But yeah, you can continue.
Pretty much, yeah. So these are French conservative points of view for the longest time. So you have the culmination in so you have 2014. There was just a Republican wave year. They've retaken the Senate the first time in 8 years. Well, it might have been longer than that. But yeah, so they've retaken the Senate, the Republicans. So fast forward 2 years, it's 2016. Scalia just dies. And normally, you would allow whoever's in office, the president, to appoint a judge. You have instead Mitch McConnell blocking all of Obama's appointees since 2014. And even before that, when they lost the supermajority, they were blocking his federal appointees. So in 2014, 2013, 2014, they changed the rules to allow the Senate to confirm with 51 votes for federal appointees, but not the Supreme Court yet. So you have the combination of 40 years, 30, 40 years of conservatives' hopes and dreams of reshaping the Supreme Court and the whole judicial system and their whole point of view and their whole worldview of a reactionary force protecting their racist, sexist, homophobic constitution that has been violated by these activist liberal judges. So that's why when Trump became president, they appointed so many Supreme Court offices, Supreme Court judges. He got 3.
You missed out how they blocked.
Yeah.
So when Obama was in his last months, they blocked appointment of the last judge.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
said, Obama is in office. We're not going to debate this because the elections are coming in a year.
Here's the thing: they were blocking his federal judges since 2015 when they got in. They took over. They were blocking his federal judges. So when Trump got in, he got a Supreme Court and 150 something federal judges appointees.
But what happened with? Could they try to take it to the court? Did Obama sue the Senate and say they're blocking? Did they try?
I think I don't remember. I think he might have, and I think they told him. I don't think he. I don't remember. I don't think he actually did.
Because during the history of court, and this is true everywhere, court is always going to defend itself. And this is open attack on the court system, not just conservative. This isn't conservative liberal politics. This is institutions arguing among themselves. Court wants to have power over Senate and Congress and the presidency itself. So, if he didn't take it, then he's a fool.
If I don't remember, but I'd have to look it up. But the whole Supreme Court and then the two other branches are supposed to be equal and check each other. But the Republicans and conservatives realize the Supreme Court actually has way more power than the other two branches because they're appointed for life. They interpret laws and they can literally just strike any law down they don't like.
I mean, the main grudge that is holding power from the Supreme Court, something has to come to them. They cannot just Congress. Congress can do whatever. We want this law, we're going to have this law. They have to wait something to come to them, and then they can say whatever they want, because there is nothing above them.
Yeah, they're supposed to follow precedent, but they don't follow precedent anymore. They just do what the fuck they want.
Well, if they follow precedent, then you'll have conservative interpretation of the legal system. No judicial activism. You wouldn't all the liberal things that you said that were good that they did. You wouldn't have any of that if they follow precedent.
Well, if they follow precedent now, they would keep those things.
Yeah, of course, but that's the problem with precedent, with legal system that is based on precedent.
Pretty much. And the fucked up thing is basically all of America's civil rights are more or less protected by 9 people. And right now there's 6 of them that are openly reactionary. So And then you have several states currently. They literally banned abortion in Oklahoma last week. That's going all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court's going to let that law pass. Because Roberts, he's anti-abortion, but he actually believes in like precedent, even if it's like liberal precedent. And he wants to make sure the court is non-partisan, more or less, and to be above the law, above like everything. So he would vote with the liberals to protect abortion and like some other things. But he scrapped fucking this Voting Rights Act with fucking Kennedy in 2013. Pretty much fuck those guys.
Wait, that is the thing that demands voter identification.
No. So anytime a state with a history of racism tries to update their voting laws, they had to get it approved by the Justice Department.
Oh, that is like a reconstitution thing, or is it just any state?
It's just the states with a history of racism. So Arizona, the Deep South states.
Okay, so it is the part of the of the reintegration of the Confederacy into the United States.
No, it was passed in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
It was thanks LBJ. It was to protect. So they were refranchising black people, and they banned the poll tax, the Supreme Court, and the literacy laws. So, like the voter ID and all those sort of laws and stuff, if they'd have to get approved by the federal government to prove, and then they'd have to argue and prove that these policies weren't discriminatory against like people they historically discriminated against. Arizona historically discriminated against the indigenous and Mexican population, so Arizona was on the list. So was most of the Deep South, and these are all heavily conservative and Republican states. So they pretty much threw out the Voting Rights Act because they're like, we have a black president, racism is done. Yeah, so then a few years later, Kennedy voted with the liberals to say gay marriage was okay. Honestly, if I think...
So I wanted to go on a tangent how the whole system is outdated. First, the system that you have in US is from 1700s, from 18th century. Only nine people are judging. Like this was meant for a legal system that was based for agriculture based society. Like if you go to any bigger state like Germany, they have like their constitutional court are 2 senates of all in total, I think, above 20 people. And it doesn't matter who the justice is and what that justice thinks personally, because some question is going to come up, and you don't know which exact person is going to decide over it. Or if you go to like to European Court for Human Rights, which is like international courts for all European countries. Russia was just kicked out of that system recently. If you go there, then you will never know which judge is going to preside over that question, because there's one from each state, and there are 48 countries. And they only either elect 7 or 17 if it is a grand council. So you never know who is going to. It doesn't matter what each individual justice thinks personally, or if they're liberal or whatever, or conservative. So you need to make the system that is apolitical on daily politics level, which is going to preside over legal questions and not over purely political ones. And another thing is the current system in US doesn't allow for specialization. Like, law is divided mainly into criminal, administrative, and civil. And you can allow for like to have 9 justices that are only into criminal, only into civil questions, and only into administrative questions. So you're going to have better quality of decisions if you have specialists that are answering the questions, that are passing judgments. And like if you go to doctors, you're going to go to the specialists. You're not going to have jacks of all trades answering complex questions. So same for legal questions. But there is no political will in US to pass something like that. But if you go to Britain, they changed their political system or their judicial system so that in the first instance they allow for specialists to have their say with their tribunals and so on. But in the US, the system is stale because there is no political will. And the final thing about the whole system is, but this is more of a common like Anglo-American critique, like the justices and judges in general, the judicial system has too much say. Like they should only interpret what Parliament is passing. Parliament is democratically directly elected. What Congress passes, justices should only follow that. Because these people are not democratic at all. But because the US is so large, you're never going to be able to have a functioning Congress that is going to be competent at anything. So you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, the whole point was they wanted to have more or less. So they wanted each. So the whole Supreme Court was supposed to be like above like the electorate. They weren't supposed to have a more or less beholden to the voters. That's what they wanted, apparently, more or less.
Yeah, but you see how it failed.
Technically, it worked for me. It's failing now.
Yeah, but I mean, it failed the Republicans when it was working for you.
And then it failed my ancestors when it was working for the racists. Yeah, the whole point is they wanted the Supreme Court to be, since they're appointed for life, they're not supposed to have to get in. They're supposed to be above like everyone or whatever, and like not get dragged into like the petty squabbles or whatever. And they aren't beholden to the voters, so they aren't swayed by like political will or whatever of the times.
But they're always going to get involved in petty squabbles. Like there is no way out for them.
Also, why is no one talking about how Clarence Thomas's wife tried to overthrow the government?
I mean, people are talking about it, but
not the people who she tried to overthrow.
They can impeach him, but that's not happening. So
that give the Democrats an extra seat on the Senate. No, the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but he might die soon. Especially, I think he was in the hospital for COVID.
Yeah, he got out.
Oh, he got out. Yeah, but he might retire because COVID fucked him over. Oh, you never know.
Well, he's gonna wait until conservatives have control of the Senate.
Yeah, but he might. Yeah, of course he is going to try, but he might die tomorrow. So you never know.
Oh, like fucking Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I mean, yeah, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, when she died, that was like, oh, the human rights activist, blah blah blah. She fucked over everyone because she wanted to remain on the court. If she stepped down when Obama was in power, or if they solved this problem with the Republicans, then there would be a liberal justice, and you would have 4-5 or whatever majority in the
Yeah.
Supreme Court. Not what you have now, 6-3 majority for the Republicans.
Yeah, because she should have retired in 2014.
Yeah, she should have, but she either didn't think that there was a way for Trump to lose, the Trump to win, or she personally wanted to continue continue working because it's nice to work. It's nice to have power over other people.
She was also a racist piece of shit. And then they hid that shit when she was alive.
She also was anti-feminist. Like she was against women's amendment to the Constitution. So amendment that is going to say women are equal with men. And now we have decisions that say that, but it would be much more powerful if the Constitution itself said it.
Yeah, because they can repeal those laws and change them.
Yeah, of course, but also, like for example, another you to the extent you can discriminate in giving out jobs and so on. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I wanted to say about Ketanji now directly. Like she's obviously jack of all trades, Ivy League, whatever, blah blah blah. Even though I think that not every justice should be from Yale and Harvard, because now except for that one that came from Connie Barrett, except for her, everyone else is from two law schools, which is really top heavy. And I don't think that people in like top 14 or even medium level schools don't know constitutional law. They know it quite well. So not only two schools should be deciding what is happening for 350 and above million people.
And on top of that, too, it's like the fucking, and all those people are also in like special like groups and like at those schools that more or less help the people become justices and stuff, and like lawyers and judges.
No, but not just that. Like if you look at how many of the justices in the last 50 years have been from New York, it's something insane. Like over 50% or something. Like, well, I don't know if it's it's over 50% or something. Like one city shouldn't have that much power in that aspect over anyone, even if it is New York City.
Yeah, the U.S. is like very top heavy, more or less. Like some parts of the country are more or less. They say California, where California goes, it decides the nation. Because California has such a big influence in the rest of the country because of their large population. Because it forces a lot of companies and stuff to change their policies just so they don't have to. They'll change it to match California in the rest of the states as well. I mean, if California does something, the other states will follow, more or less. Like with cars needing higher standards of efficiency, they'll just they don't want to make multiple different kind of cars, so they'll make one for the California standard and then just sell them everywhere.
Which the federal government should be passing on such standards and not states. But federal government is impotent in the U.S. because states' rights.
States' rights.
But yeah,
states' rights
in EU, all those like industry standards, they're set by on the EU level, and they're not set by EU itself. They're rather set by industry and consumer rights lobby groups and so on. Like legislators don't really like. Which legislator knows like should the seatbelt be this hard or this wide and so on? Like Who knows that like you need to be an engineer or in that trade to understand what it means for what it means. Like legislator can say it needs to be environmental, it needs to protect the environment, air quality, blah blah blah. But it's going to be an expert that's going to tell you, okay, air quality below above this level is bad for the environment, bad for human health. But no legislator can answer that. So yeah. No, but about Ketanji, like she's obviously jack of all trades. She has all the benefits. But to me, the most interesting bit is that she's married to some white some waspist of the wasp, like some white doctor from Boston whose family is one of the richest. Well, not of the richest, but so-called Boston Brahmins. So the ones that are descendants from pilgrims, and he's like related to one conservative senator, Paul. What's the name? Kyle, help me out.
Um.
Not Ron Paul, but the other Paul.
Oh, his
Also-
son.
Yeah, is it his son?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's his
his
son. Yeah. He's named after what's her name? That one. And Rand. Okay, yeah, Rand Paul.
Rand Paul. Yeah, he's related to that guy, and so on. So if I was asking her questions when they were pestering her, I would ask her, "What do you think? To what extent does you being related to that guy? To what extent has it impacted that you are related to this guy? You being appointed to the Senate?" That is what I would ask her. Did you understand, Kyle, what I was trying to say?
Oh, Paul Ryan is your. Okay, it's Paul Ryan, not. It was
Is
the
it
former
not-
Speaker Paul Ryan,
So he's not related to the.
not the
That-
Rand, not the Ron Paul people. It's Paul Ryan.
So I think that the fact that she married that guy that was big push for her career, and not that she's not deserving herself, but yeah, something needs to push you.
Well,
More.
her husband's related to a former Supreme Court justice as well, Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr.
To a bunch of people
Yeah,
because he's like the American aristocracy, like not
Yeah,
just one level above it.
they're like actual like American elites.
Yeah.
She did. She went to Miami School of Law, the University of Miami School of Law. Then she went to Harvard. She studied government at Harvard University. She's actually wanted to go into law and be a judge since like high school.
Yeah, I mean she's not a bad person or something like that, but she has that pedigree.
She married into the right family.
Yeah, she married into the right family. That's for sure.
I wonder if her relatives are racist.
I know some of his relative, his family or her family.
Either one. Because sometimes black people don't like black people dating or marrying being an interracial, and white people don't like it either.
I know some of her relatives were like charged for drug possession and so on.
Oh well. I was also curious if his family was like racist against her.
It could be, but I think that fact that she married into that family, that it helped her a lot career wise.
Yeah, because he has connections.
Yeah, of course, but
It's about
yeah.
it's about who you know. Oh yeah, remember how some liberals and like leftists were saying that the Democrats should pack the court since they stole the Supreme Court justices from all those courts appointees from Obama? Because there's no limit on how many judges there needs to be on the Supreme Court in the Constitution.
No, they can do whatever, like the things I said. Like they can expand it not from 9 but to, I don't know, 27, and then you
Yeah.
have like different senates, and then they just rotate. Or you can even have specialized senates. And like if it is administrative question, then you get administrative senate to decide. If it is that question, criminal question, then criminal senate. Even though criminal questions are well, not in US because you have death penalty. But
Oh, that reminds me. They also changed the so before this one case, you weren't guaranteed an actual lawyer in non-federal cases. But this one guy sued and made it a constitutional right that everyone gets a lawyer, even in state and like county laws, like crimes. He made it all the
wait,
way up to the Supreme Court. Yeah,
yeah, but that was a long time ago or
yeah,
recent.
exactly.
Yeah.
That was in the 70s.
In the 70s, holy shit.
Yes,
Well, that's
I
bad.
watched a movie about it in middle school, so my timing might be off. But it was pretty recent. It was like the 60s and 70s. So this guy, he was arrested and he was like a high school dropout. Like apparently, they thought he got charged for robbing a convenience store, and they wouldn't give him an attorney because up until that point, you only got one if you broke like federal crimes. But then he studied law and stuff in the prison. Then he sued all the way up to the Supreme Court to make it a constitutional right to get a lawyer.
Yeah, but wait, what I want to say here. So if he, yeah, I mean that's good for everyone. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why people get public defenders now for like pretty much it. And those people get paid poorly and they're overworked.
Yeah, like public defenders suck.
Yeah, they make deals like with the prosecutors to pretty much lighten their caseload.
So here people started. We imported that from US. That we also now make deals, and I'm really against it. But that you can't do much.
Yeah, because like gets a lot of and forces a lot of people to just take the deal even when they're innocent.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
Is that really justice?
No.
Exactly. Oh yeah, Variola studied law in Europe. He's going to be a lawyer.
Well, I don't know if I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to be a lawyer, but I don't know if I'm going to be like to work on the court, like to be representative.
He wants to work for a big fancy company and do horrible crimes to the poor's.
Yeah, I need to make some money. I need an apartment.
Yeah, Yugoslavia's gone, so he has to become a lawyer.
I have to become a vampire.
Exactly. Sorry, Tito.
Actually, Tito had some shitty legal setup as well. Well, not him.
What was Yugoslavia's legal setup?
So they had like regarding lawyers, they wouldn't allow them to join up, but you could work individually.
Okay.
Basically, they forced them to be to be capitalists.
And forced everyone to compete against each other.
Yeah. But every majority of lawyers was actually working for the companies, which were worker controlled. So they were one of the workers. But yeah, like the lawyers that represented the regular people, they had to compete against each other.
Oh well, it could be worse.
Well, actually, the Netherlands has a good system. Well, part of the legal system is good because they are in co-ops. Lawyers sit in co-ops, and it's mostly like liberal and leftist lawyers that sit in those co-ops.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah.
Pretty much, we need to get rid of reform the whole U.S. judicial system because it's currently not working.
And to what system are you going to What system are you going to bring in its stead?
That's something for me to figure out. That's for the American people to figure out.
Okay. You need to have some suggestions.
I don't know. Fucking go to the state. I don't know. Abolish the government.
Abolish
Anarchy. Oh yeah. So the reason why I'm not an anarchist is because I live in America and I'm half black, and everything that good has happened for black people pretty much comes from the fucking federal government and the U.S. Supreme Court during the progressive era. Because the states' rights shit is bad for minorities. Anarchy is a petty bourgeois ideology, to be honest.
I mean, you said it,
Yes.
but I agree.
Yeah, people are shitty.
But you cannot say it in leftist circles, or people are going to get really pissed at you.
Yeah. And they're wrong.
The people?
Yes, they're wrong, the people. They're like, anarchy is the best because everyone will be equal. There's no state or anything, yada yada yada. People have free association. Yeah, then you'll have a bunch of white people going around burning down black people neighborhoods. You gotta deal with the racism and shit first. You need a strong authoritarian government for that.
Well, that's it from us.
Yeah.
For no one that listened until the end, we have Discord. You can join us there. We didn't shout it out at the beginning.
Oh yeah, Waffles, don't fucking come back.
Oh, do you think he's listening?
He listens to the other ones occasionally.
Whoa.
He actually listened to the other ones like all the way.
Well, thank you, Waffles, for being a loyal listener. Your boy Putin.
Yeah, he would listen when he didn't hate us.
Well, I didn't listen the ones I'm not in, so
he listened to like quite a few of them until he got triggered by one of them.
oh. Well, that's it from us.
Thanks. Bye. Like, comment, subscribe, give us money. Join a leftist organization. I don't fucking know. Go punch a reactionary. Oh yeah, we need to do something about the whole people attacking gay people and trans rights sort of deal. But yeah, bye.
Chris Rock is reactionary. Bye.
He is.